everyone, and welcome to a rather special video. Yes, I have got a new car, as you might have guessed from the title of this. I'll keep the story short. Essentially, the Legnum, as much as I loved the car, was going to quite quickly become one of those money pits. Sadly, it's something that sometimes happens with vehicles. There were more problems with it than I realised when I got it, and I was going to be sinking an awful lot of money into it, and I decided to cut my losses. Basically, a lot of work I wasn't able to do, sort of rush-related issues and so on. I just wasn't able to work on it myself. It cost, said, a crazy amount of money, and well, there was an opportunity. Yes, there was an opportunity to buy something really rather special. Now, I am going to wander my way along, and you'll notice how long it takes for me to get to the front of said vehicle. Yes, I have bought an American muscle car. I've always loved muscle cars. Well, I say I've always loved muscle cars. As soon as I learned of them, I have loved muscle cars. And now, in fact, let's go. We're going to keep walking. We're going to keep walking. We're going to keep walking this way. And I'm going to have to actually probably walk quite a long way in this direction before we will be able to get it in shot. Because behind me, there it is, a 90. I'll get the camera right. There we go. A 1965 Plymouth Fury. Yes, that is my car. Not my everyday car, I will admit. It is, shall we say, quite expensive to run, but that is very much my car. Now, the important thing when it comes to the Fury, the engine. Yes, under the bonnet in this is a 6.3 litre V8. No, it is not quite the very largest V8 that you can possibly get in a muscle car, but it's still a mighty impressive engine. I mean, hell, look at the space you have inside the engine, mate. I'm just not used to any of that with the sort of cars I have owned previously. Yeah, it is a rather damn impressive engine. Now, you might have noticed the exterior is not exactly what you would call stock looking. The previous owner was converting it into a NASCAR style replica, and I very much like that. I'm a big fan of the livery that goes on. You cannot blend in with, I mean, you can't blend in with a muscle car to begin with, but you really can't when your vehicle looks like this. But it's pretty damn awesome. To go with the NASCAR theme as well, and another reason why this one in particular really caught my eye outside of just, I mean, look at the damn thing. It's had a manual conversion. Yes, this has got a 4-speed manual gearbox in it, which is difficult to use, but there we go. It's also, I mean, massive. I was quite a good way back to be able to try and get the entire damn car. I mean, the overhang at the back is massive. It is just a ridiculously large car to be driving around here. To go along with that theme, the boot space. Surprisingly practical, I will have you know. Having had an estate car previously, this will probably almost fit as much stuff in it. Not quite the same height as an estate car, naturally, but you could certainly do an IKEA trip and fit a few dead bodies in there if required. It's a massive boot at the back of this. So, I mean, muscle car is surprisingly vaguely practical. I mean, ish. Inside, there's a lot of blue. There's a lot of blue going on in turquoise. It's an interesting, not the colour combination I would have personally have gone for from new. We've got the 4-speed gearbox in it. Yeah, perhaps not the colour combination I would have gone for from new, but it's certainly different. We've got a rev counter stuck on the steering column again, like the classic NASCARs, the Speedo. Because of the gearbox conversion, unfortunately, doesn't work and can't be got working, which is a little bit of a pain. The vents are completely different to anything else I've ever used, yet you have the levers underneath the steering column. That's for both the left-hand side for the driver's side, right-hand side for the passenger side, so I have control of both of them. You've got the handbrake release, you've got the lights is a little thing you pull out, the wiper thing you twist to turn it on, it's either on or off, that's it. All the dials work, bar the Speedo. I mean, it's not pristine, it's not perfect, it's not a concourse edition car. If you like, you can see it on the parcel shelf, the sort of fabrics lifting up. The seats are actually in pretty good nick overall. Can't complain. Again, it's a 54-year-old car, this one. Steering wheel is a little bit ratty in places, as I said. The Speedo doesn't work. I actually have to have my phone on a little stand with a GPS Speedo working. I will get a GPS one proper eventually. Oh, and the door doesn't stay open, because of course it doesn't. It does, however, make a glorious noise. to drive a 60s muscle car in England? The short answer is interesting. This is a very big car, and, well, English roads are not particularly large. I'm sitting on the wrong side of the car with the gearbox that's a little bit fiddly, and it's an experience. An experience is really the best way I can describe it. Not just in terms of the driving, in terms of the noise. I am not 100% sure how much my microphone is going to be liking this in here. There is no insulation. There's a whistle for a bit of trim somewhere over that way, and I don't quite know where it is. And there is just an awful lot of engine noise when you go for it. It's brilliant though. It is completely and utterly unlike anything else I've ever driven and probably ever will outside of another muscle car. Suspension-wise, there is some. It's bouncy. Now, I live around a very rough area of road. The roads are, quite frankly, terrible. I live in the countryside. There are many tractors and many trucks, and it's completely and utterly awful out here. And in this, well, unlike with the Legnum, where you'd be worried about smacking the nose into the floor, in this, you bounce. Now, I've come down a road that isn't one of the worst ones that we go down around here. However, there is still a legitimate concern that you might end up headbutting the roof, because a combination of bouncy suspension and very bouncy seats mean, well, you do often end up, yeah. I personally haven't quite there we go, haven't quite headbutted the roof yet. Apparently in the back seat it's worse. Apparently in the back seat it is quite bouncy going on. So that's a fun experience. Brakes, we have them. They're not power assisted, and you need to be aware. In some ways I liken driving this car to when you very first learn to drive. You have got to be paying a huge amount of attention at all times. You cannot take anything for granted here, because you will get in trouble if you do. You will get in a huge amount of trouble if you do. The brakes are not as good as I'm used to in a modern car. Nowhere near as good as what I'm used to in a modern car. So you have got to brake considerably earlier than you perhaps would otherwise. Are we clear to go here? Yes, we are. The steering is quite laughable. That was one of the opportunities I'd get to put my foot down. Oh, there is nothing that can quite make you smile like a muscle car. Yeah, the steering, I can do, well, sort of this, and we're not really changing course. It's safe to say there is some play in the steering. It isn't power assisted in the slightest. While going along here, it's okay. When trying to park, it's not so great. My drive is quite narrow. Those of you who might have seen pictures of it on Twitter, my driveway is not particularly large. Oh, it's bumpy down here. Yeah, my driveway is particularly wide, and the entrance trying to get into it isn't the easiest, and I'm trying to do it in this. Yeah, there we go. Christ. It's madness. It's madness. So yeah, the steering's interesting. I mean, it is okay. You have got a lot more play than you are used to. Again, I've been driving modern cars, barring the Clio, but even then, that was practically futuristic compared to this. The noise every time, it will always, without doubt, make you smile. Yeah, it's a very, very different thing. It is a very, very different thing to get your head around. I think there's a corner coming up somewhere around here. Normally, whenever I go out on one of these let's do a video sort of thing, we come across something interesting. I did notice before, just as I set off, someone drove through the village in a McLaren 5 thingy, whatever. I can't remember the numbers of the McLaren, many numbers. So that was the excitement, apparently, not quite on camera, because it buggered off, funnily enough, as soon as it got to the country roads. I can't quite keep up with that. Yeah, grip in this is a lot less than I'm used to. I mean, a really lot less. You go to a roundabout at 30 miles an hour and it is decidedly sketchy. I'm going to use sketchy as the word because I don't know what a better word is for. Well, that's sketchy, that's a little unfair. But yeah, there's not much grip when you get to a corner. If it's raining, you have got to take absolute care. And I mean absolute care, because this will slide its wheels. It's just tiny, a millimetre too much on the throttle pedal, and the back end will step out. And that is a guarantee on that one. The back end will step out. I have unintentionally a good couple of times now pulled out of somewhere and gone to accelerate away and just got a little too much. And there's some big old wheel spin. It's a powerful car, it's a torquey car. So yeah, you basically, as I said, you've really really got to keep your wits about you at all times. But it's a fun experience because it is something very, very different. I mean, the looks you get driving something like this are incredible. They really are. You struggle to stop to fill up with petrol without people wanting to come over and have a talk about it, have a look at it. And so when you're driving down the motorways, people will beep, people will wave at you. I've had a few people even film it as they go past and whatnot. It's not a quick car. It is not a quick car. I will be the first to admit it's a powerful car, and in a straight line it is pretty rapid. No, the Legnum would beat it. Undoubtedly. The Legnum would be faster than this in a straight line for the most part. However, it's not all about that with this car. It really is not all about this. Now this is it's a corner we got coming up here. Don't do anything stupid around this one because it won't thank me for that. Yeah, you know, it is not going to go around a circuit particularly fast, but then it is going to make a noise like nothing else when you do put your foot down. And again, this is, okay, yeah, over in America, maybe you will see a few more of this kind of car. In England, you just do not. This is actually quite a narrow corner. Does mean it's a second gear corner, and we can go. Oh, yeah, that will never ever get boring. Sadly, in a 54-year-old car, the bit that decided to give up was the 3-year-old GoPro. Yeah, there was some, shall we say, technical issues with the GoPro. It was playing silly buggers, and I couldn't get the damn thing to get working again. So, yeah, didn't quite go all according to plan. Thankfully, nothing wrong with the car itself. Yeah, I'm going to have a play around and see if I can get it back working again so that we can do some more. There will be plenty more videos on the way with the Fury because it's quite an incredible vehicle. That much is for sure. However, that is going to be it for today. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.